Welcome to Geordie Lass and Doc Sass. One day, a Geordie and a Canadian walk into a bar and decide to start a podcast about relationships and what a topic that is. No subjects are off limits. Get in touch today with us at geordielass.com or email info@geordielass.com and let us know what you think and what we should talk about. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey there, girl.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going well, thank you. How are you?
I'm okay. I gotta ask, you went to a beautiful city. Tell me all about it.
Oh, I did. Yes, we are just back from Budapest, and it's one of those places I've always really wanted to go. And one of the reasons I wanted to go was because I wanted to go in the thermal baths that they have there, which we managed to do, which was beautiful. Tad bloody chilly outside of the thermal baths, I have to say. Not sure I'd fully recommend it in November, but anyway, once you got in, it's like stepping into a beautiful, lovely, warm bath. So, yes, I can highly recommend that. But there were just so many beautiful places to go and see, and lots of scrummy food, just loads of walking. Just really, really enjoyed it. And it was good to hang out with my man.
Oh.
And I'm pleased to say we didn't fall out before, during, or after. High five to me.
High five. I remember that because you were like, just got to keep the boat afloat.
Just got to keep it all going. So, we managed it. I'm impressed by both of us.
Beautiful. I'm so proud of you.
There was one touching moment in the thermal baths where either something got lost in translation or the baths themselves are very large, and we were waiting in two different spaces without any mobile technology at that point because we're just about to go into a thermal bath.
Oh my gosh.
But we did manage to reunite and didn't have a big bust up about it. So we are patting ourselves on the back.
Oh, and that's fantastic because often what happens is the blame game of it's your fault. No, it was your fault. And then there's this, but then just recognizing of like, okay, it
was
happened.
Definitely still a discussion. But the discussion didn't escalate. It was a case of, right, let's just pop that aside and go and enjoy what we're here to do.
Oh my God, so good. Not, you always do this. You never do this.
I know, we're so grown up nowadays.
Oh my God, that's so wonderful. Awesome.
So it was good. It was good. It's always nice to just have a break, isn't it?
Yes.
And should I ask how life is in Athens?
It's wonderful. And it's like crazy. I'm about to move into an apartment that is completely empty of everything, including a bed and a fridge. So I don't know what I'm going to do, but it always works out.
I wouldn't expect anything else from you, Anna.
I know. And I'm coaching the entire night, all through the night before I have to leave my temporary residence. So I don't know what I'm going to do. But I'm just one foot in front of the other. I don't have plates either.
How do you get yourself into this?
I don't know. I literally have no plates, no cutlery, nothing. I don't even have a table. I'm going to have to, I think, take my coaching calls from sitting on the floor. I don't know what I'm going to do. Anyways, so that's what's going on for me. I'm going to be just fine.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah.
I'm here for you.
Build it and they will come, everybody. Build it and they will come. Yeah. Fake it until you become it.
I'm sure you'll have a plan figured out in no time. You are a very resourceful person.
Oh my God. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the vote of confidence. I need some relationship news there, love. Give it to me. We got to get over to the desk.
Okay. So today on the relationship desk of love, let me ask you a question. If you were about to sit down and write your wedding vows for your other half and your future husband or wife that you're going to spend the rest of your life with, how do you think you would approach that?
Well, I don't know if I would venture onto ChatGPT just now. I think it's a bit too soon, but that's the first thing that comes to my mind is maybe not ChatGPT it.
Well, apparently there's a rise in people who are asking AI to help them write their wedding vows.
I was right. I don't know why. Okay, audience, we do not prepare this, but the first thing that came to mind is like, did this silly fellow just go and ChatGPT their wedding vows? Okay, tell me.
Well, I'll tell you what else is funny. So I've just read it in an article there. It was just saying about how there's kind of a rise in people who are turning to ChatGPT to help them, and other AI instruments as well to help them to write their all-important wedding vows, which generally should convey your heartfelt warmness, fuzziness.
Oh, yeah.
All of the love that you have experienced and all of the reasons why you're getting married. Absolutely. Genuinely, that's what you'd put into them. However, people are struggling and unable to sit down and write those wedding vows. So they're turning to ChatGPT to help them. And
oh my gosh,
I mean, the article definitely advises against it, and I can kind of see why. Like, could you imagine if the stream videos from, I don't know, across kind of 150 weddings in the over the next kind of 5 to 10 years, everybody's going to come out with exactly the same wedding vows.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, exactly. Well, I mean, I suppose that's the whole question about AI is like, how much will it be customized? How much will it start to have sort of a mind of its own, or sort of like that kind of emotional, like EQ? So, yeah. No, I mean, and then I guess the smart person right now would feed the engine with some personal details maybe to incorporate, I suppose. So.
But still, though, it's not going to, there's absolutely no way it can generate something in your tone of voice, your kind of heartfelt way, even with some extremely intelligent prompting, which is, I guess, what you're talking about in terms of feeding the machine. Funny enough, I'm a big fan of Married at First Sight.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, in there, one of the grooms actually kind of went on the internet to write his wedding speech.
Oh.
You would think that was dumb enough. However, he then went on to admit that that's what he'd done.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
Said it took him 10 minutes to write his wedding vows. Now, this is slightly different because this is a stranger marrying a stranger. So I can understand, you might be kind of turning to other technologies to kind of help give you inspiration in that situation because you're not coming from your kind of own experiences.
Right,
However, even in that situation, you should still be sitting down surely and thinking about the experience that you're about to embark on and what it means to you and what you're hoping for or what you promise to give as part of the experience.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Oh, yeah, cringe. I tell you, what an interesting time.
I genuinely do wonder if we are just losing all sense of creativity, kind of self-being, an ability to express who we are, our emotions, and come from a place of self as opposed to everything else that we're fed. It's not just AI, is it? I mean, we're fed stuff repeatedly all of the time about how we should think, act, behave, believe, be. It's absolutely no wonder we've lost a sense of who we are and we're incapable of sitting down and writing kind of pure emotion.
Oh my gosh, I tell you, this is so true. I value analog and staying off the internet and doing sort of things manually when I can. But I do realize it's kind of like a lost value.
I mean, it's absolutely, it's there.
Thing.
Technology is there. It's in our lives. We cannot get away from it. And I'm not saying like, let's all boycott technology. I use technology every day. There's no two ways about it. I use artificial intelligence to help to kind of craft things in a certain way, but I absolutely wouldn't, at least I don't think I would, use it to craft wedding vows.
Yeah.
I think you need some sort of personal touch there.
I agree. And the motorcycle outside would say that is true as well. As I continue to be in my very busy recording space, I agree. And I think that AI is making me think differently, or at least the conversation around it is making me think differently. Like, you can create art, and I'm going to start to value that. Or you can create music. I'm going to start to value that. It's going to change the way that we produce creativity. It may change the way that we experience emotion or we express emotion. Maybe. I'm kind of leaving that open to possibility. But if it's anything like how we use smartphones, then we're destined for, a total global meltdown. Yeah, basically. Yeah.
So,
well, okay.
Interesting the way things progress and develop as ever. I guess, would you have years ago kind of go to the library? Would you have got a book of poems out and use that to write your wedding vows?
Smart.
I don't know. Like,
yes,
or we maybe just, we're interpreting it in a certain lens. Maybe just we've always been the same. We've always looked for inspiration around us. And, that's why you've got millions of libraries across the world.
Yeah, you've got it. Yeah.
Perhaps that's all it is.
I agree.
I'm giving AI a second chance.
Yep, you've got it. You've got it. Oh.
All right. Now we have explored the love desk. Would you like to explore a hot topic?
Oh, yes, let's go.
Today's hot topic: judge, jury, and executor.
Oh my gosh. Yes, that sounds like my mind, actually.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Well, it sounds like judge, jury, and executor means that I am judging and acquitting or sort of convicting as guilty, and then also determining a line of punishment for somebody where I have not even told them that I'm actually feeling hurt or offended or whatever. So that's where I go. What are you thinking? What's the spirit of this in your mind?
I think it is that. I think it's along those lines of actually feeling like we're in total control of somebody else's destiny or the destiny of the relationship. You know, obviously everything we talk about is in the context of relationships between two people. We're generally talking about intimate relationships. Sometimes we talk about other areas as well, because it's all kind of connected with one another. But I think in this context, when we think about the judge, the jury, the executor, it's saying, actually, I'm the one that's in control here. I'm the one that's in charge, and it's kind of my way or the highway. And if you don't want to toe the line, then I can decide on your fate. I can choose and decide what happens next. You are not in control of this relationship, and it's almost like the other person, kind of at that point, if we look at it through that lens, doesn't actually even play a part in it.
Oh, and that is huge. Careful what you wish for, because if you're looking to control somebody else, careful, because you probably will. But the checkout, right? That person then checks right out and then will passive aggressively generally rebel. Yeah.
Well, you control the pure spirit out of somebody, and then where's the fun in your relationship?
Oh, I coach around this. I coach these situations all the time where somebody has been so controlling and the other person, there is no fun. It's always like you're screwing up, you're not enough, you've done, etc. Oh my gosh, yeah. So, I mean, but the thing is that we're taught in life to control everything. We can control the weather. We can control our environment. We've been given this false sense that like control is our birthright, or that it's, be smart and control everything. But it's actually the absence of control. That's where vulnerability lies.
Yeah.
So how would you know if you're a person who's living in this reality? Like, what would help you to become insightful to like, oh, okay, this is what's going on?
Well, I guess there's two sides to it, isn't there? So I think I saw something the other day on, I don't know, some social media platform. They all merge into one nowadays. But it was about kind of what is it, like 50 years on, kind of what is it that makes your relationship successful? And they had about 3 or 4 different couples on there, and every single one said, she's in charge. And it's like, and I think we've been kind of fed this belief, this story that actually, if I'm a female in a relationship, I'm talking about kind of male and female relationships here, and I'm sure it plays out in kind of in same-sex relationships, as you've got one that maybe takes on that role and that position. So I'm sure it's very similar. But it's that kind of narrative that actually, if I'm the female in the relationship, then it should be me that's in control, in charge. I dictate kind of everything that happens. And it's that old kind of story, happy wife, happy life. I'm not going to kind of have any views or opinions. I'm just going to kind of go along with whatever, because quiet life, it's easier. I don't really have to kind of, and I don't have to stress then. I don't have to put really a lot of effort in either, because I just kind of, I go and I follow and I do and I take instruction. So there's no need to then kind of take the lead or think about anything.
Yeah.
So I think this is kind of very often a stereotypical story that we have been led to believe is, that is the secret to a happy relationship, is if I just stay quiet and do as I'm told, I just kind of lead the way and I tell the other person what to do. Everything's going to be hunky-dory and we're going to live a happy, blissful life.
Gosh. Like, yeah, no. Yeah, no.
So I think they're kind of like how the two examples kind of play out in that. Yeah, so I think on a more kind of serious and sinister note would be, that actually if I can't share my views openly and freely, or if I feel like there's no point in making a suggestion because it's just going to be shot down, then I would know then actually I'm the kind of passive, quiet partner in this relationship. If I'm on the other side and I am the judge, jury and the executor, then I probably feel quite kind of, I would, on an extreme level, you might feel quite sort of bitter and twisted and a bit kind of aggrieved in your relationship. And actually you should recognise that your partner probably couldn't do anyway, even if they did stay quiet, silent and just followed along. You probably aren't still very satisfied with that. You're probably still not very happy with that because it's not fulfilling any part of your relationship that you actually deep down kind of want and need.
So I see that. And what happens is that person, then the judge, jury, and executioner, they just double down. I want more control. I want more control because they think that they want more control. But what they want is a partner who leans in. And the more you try to control, the more your partner becomes passive, like the most checked out employee, and you become the CEO. It's not the role you wanted, but your behavior is making that happen.
Yeah. Or even worse, parent and child.
Oh, that. Oh, God. And then you wonder why sexual issues happen. Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I think part of that need for control is, that's your kind of inner saboteur coming out. Because the need for control is masking something else. So there's something else that's there that means that you need to feel like you are 100% in control and you are leading this relationship. So that is absolutely, almost certainly masking something else. I don't think you're doing it because you deliberately want to control another person. And it'd be interesting if you were listening to this and going, actually, shit, I kind of recognise myself in some of that. I can see how I take some of those steps and I do some of those things. What I would say to you is that this doesn't make you kind of a terrible, awful person. So the first thing you shouldn't do is go to that then kind of inner critic that says, oh my God, like I'm an awful partner, because that's not the case. You are following a certain path because you're most likely trying to kind of mask something else that's going on. So all I would say is get a bit more curious with that, understand it, explore it, get some self-awareness about why is it that I couldn't let my partner choose a restaurant or make a suggestion about something? Why is it that I couldn't say, do you know what? Yeah, okay, you take on the role of looking for the next holiday or explore options for kind of juniors' next schooling. Like you do that, you pick that. Yeah. You go to parents' evening instead of me. Well, there's no reason why you can't just kind of, and if you find yourself in that position where you always need to be at the forefront of everything, and you're probably feeling quite knackered by that as well, because the sense of responsibility and the weight on your shoulders is going to be playing quite a heavy burden, I would imagine.
Well, okay, so there's that. The tricky thing is I love this challenge. The thing is that you can't say, oh, no, you planned this. And then, nope, that's not right. No, you did that wrong. No, whatever. Because that's the next thing to come down the pipe is granting the permission to do something, but then micromanaging it where the person's like, well, forget it. Like, you asked me to do this thing, but then everything that I do is wrong. So I'm not going to help out anymore. Like, that is, you got to watch yourself. You got to be onto yourself. Yeah, you really got to be onto yourself.
But I think one of the tricks is to let go of control in a really slow manner. True. In a slow, controlled manner. Because, if you, it would be quite easy to kind of flip into that behaviour, wouldn't it? Of saying, oh, well, no, I'm not really interested in that. Or, I wish you hadn't booked that because that's not my thing. Or I wouldn't have done it like that. This is, you've overcooked this, you've done that.
Oh my gosh.
It's really kind of easy. And I don't think we're saying kind of just relinquish all control and say, right, do you know what, it's over to you. What you want to ultimately be aiming for is partnership in a relationship. And sometimes you're going to be 100%, sometimes you're not going to be. And the other person needs to kind of flip into action. And it's almost like a seesaw that's going up and down. And sometimes you might be absolutely completely level. And you might be both kind of putting in 50% of the effort. Sometimes one of you is, riding high, you are absolutely doing everything, the other person's on the floor.
Yes.
And we'll be somewhere in between. So I think the key thing is about saying, okay, what would be one thing that I would be happy or less uncomfortable, because you probably don't feel comfortable about anything, but what would I be less uncomfortable about relinquishing control of? What would be one instance? Because I don't think it's just about the kind of the control aspect. I think it is about the judgment. And that's another part of this is, you know, what is one area where I can identify that I am judging my partner?
Oh, that's a nice thing. It's like, okay, just one area.
Just one thing that I know I'm kind of like, and it's, and you'll know that you're judging them because you'll find that statement, which is, you always do it wrong, you never. So when we're looking at those extreme words, we are in full judgment mode there.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Totally. That's a great thing. You always, you never, absolutely. If you can catch yourself on that and identify like, I'm not a complete angel. There must be something that I'm judging my partner for. So let's just do a scan. Yeah.
Hey, listen, we all do it. We're all, as human beings, we've got kind of judgment inherently built into us, I'm sure of it. And we kind of judge things and we judge people and we judge situations all of the time because we want to make sense of the world around us. And we do that by placing meaning on absolutely everything that happens. And we do it in a split second and we do it subconsciously a lot of the time. So we don't even realise that we're doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the hardest part.
Yeah. I think, so it's fair to say that if you feel like your partner is checked out or that you've got like a more of a child than a partner, like you could say, oh yeah, it's because they are useless, it's because they're lazy, it's because they don't care. Okay, so maybe 40% of the 60% is true, but like what part of that is because you are over controlling and they've checked out? Is there more than 1% chance that that could be happening? And if so, then just scan and just see. And it might be one thing that you try doing a little bit differently, or even asking your partner, like, do I micromanage this?
Yeah.
And hold on, because there might be a tsunami of words that come out. You might also hear like, well, I'd tell you, but I think you'll take it wrong. And I think you're going to get mad if I tell you that. That's another sign that there's probably something going on. There's probably something beyond that.
Yeah. I think often the response will be no. Like, because if you've developed this kind of dynamic in your relationship, there's absolutely no way you're going to want to rock the boat. And to think, you know, often the response to that would be, shit, I don't know what the right answer is. Is the right answer yes? Is the right answer no? Like, how do I play this?
Yes.
And so I think there's a challenge to try and kind of break that dynamic, but it is absolutely possible to do.
Yep. Yes. So it gets back to maybe asking the same question several times and not, if you get the sense that there is something where your partner doesn't feel completely open, venture. Again, it's about psychological safety, right? Like,
yeah, it is.
Yeah. And again, if we've established patterns, it took a long time for that pattern to establish. So it's not going to reverse itself overnight. But small steps. Small steps.
Exactly.
Showing up a little bit differently. It's amazing the wonder it does.
Another way to kind of open that door to increase the psychological safety is just ask opinions. So instead of saying, do you feel like I micromanage you? Then, you know, because there is that kind of thing where, oh, actually, I genuinely don't know what the right answer is here and I don't want things to kick off. It's like 9 o'clock. I'm kind of ready for bed. Now is not a good time for that. And so you can get kind of an avoidance that goes on. And rather than kind of that, it's maybe asking opinions on things and then seeing what comes back. If you repeatedly get a kind of, you know, a no voice or no opinion, no expression, or I don't mind, or it's fine, or it looks lovely, I'd probably explore that a little bit.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah. Don't take those responses at face value. Yeah, you've got it.
So,
right.
Kicks us off nicely.
Yes, indeed. Ooh, okay.
Whilst we're on a roll, shall we answer a question?
Let's go.
Today's question. I'm struggling to balance my relationship with my work and my personal life. I feel like whatever I do, it's never good enough in both areas. What are some tips for managing a healthy work-life balance while still prioritising my relationship?
Oh, this is so important. And I coach around this all the time. The thing that is generally, so this is a very benignly stated question, but really what is often happening is I feel like the general pattern is that somebody feels like they're not enough at work, and that may be like more of a self-assessment than anything, the imposter syndrome. They're working hard, not smart. Maybe they've gotten some feedback from their line manager that they're not measuring up, and maybe not. Maybe they just feel like they're drinking from a fire hose and just not being able to catch all the balls. But when it comes in relationship, there's often very, very strongly stated comments from a partner that seems to indicate that they're not measuring up. So the work is not generally a direct, like I feel like I'm not doing enough, but in relationship, I have been told that I'm not doing enough. So that generally tends to be the person that I coach. So they're finding a balance, but what's actually happening is they're terrified because their partner is really kind of amping up the messages of I'm unhappy, I'm dissatisfied, you're spending too much time at work, I feel like I don't have enough of you, that sort of thing. So how do you find that this shows up?
So I think that absolutely can happen. I think in some instances, you maybe haven't got that feedback from anybody, both at work or in your relationship, but you genuinely feel like you're not measuring up. And the thing that comes up for me is around boundaries. So when we can set healthy boundaries in all aspects and areas of our lives, we can create a life that we want to live. I think what is probably happening in this case is there aren't any boundaries, and I'm just generally not happy in any area because I haven't set appropriate boundaries at work. Therefore, I've maybe taken on too much responsibility. I've got too much to do, and I'm not kind of putting my hand up and saying, look, this just isn't humanly possible. I think this happens so much nowadays in kind of a work environment as workforces kind of, downsize. We've just gone through a massive shift in employment where people are expected to take on more and more responsibility in the same hours, which just wouldn't be humanly possible.
Absolutely.
And instead of kind of putting the hand up and saying, look, I get this, but I can't do the things that I was doing before and then do all this new stuff. You've got to tell me what to prioritise, or we've got to work together on a plan. And so instead of that, they want to kind of demonstrate and prove that they are capable and all the rest of it. And often that comes from a place of fear, especially if loads of people have just been laid off and now you're kind of like thankful that you've got a job. So because you're thankful you've got a job, you're putting in kind of an extra, you're going the extra mile and you're putting in an extra kind of 2-3 hours a day. All of that adds up when you look at it and span it across the week. The impact of that is then, I don't know, you maybe only get a couple of hours in the evening and you're knackered. And then the weekends, you're on complete and utter kind of, you're frazzled. You've got absolutely nothing left to give. But you could come home to your relationship, and your relationship obviously needs investment. It needs investment in time. It needs care. It needs attention. It's like water in the garden. You can't, if you leave it, it's going to end up absolutely burnt out. So we need to tend to kind of both areas. And for me, I think if you've got stronger boundaries, you're able to say, well, look, do you know what? Yes, I'll try and take on that extra responsibility, but I need to be able to do it within these hours because I've got other commitments. I've got another life.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you. This is completely, I think that was the articulation I was missing, is sort of taking it to reveal the boundaries on both sides of the fence in your personal life, what you've committed to, overcommitted to, in your the expectations that you've allowed to pile onto your shoulders.
Yeah. I think the other thing here is around intention. So, like, what am I intending to happen? Where am I putting my kind of energy and focus? Or am I not? Like, a lot of the time we live a life without a plan, without an idea, without any really clear kind of intention set in for the outcome or the output that we want to kind of produce in the world. So, and that sounds very kind of clinical, but it's not. If I was to start on an exercise regime and I said, right, okay, I want to lose, as I have done several times, I want to lose, I don't know, like 5 kilos by Christmas. It's probably not possible for me. Anyway, if I did, right? I can't then kind of say, okay, that's my stated position. That's what I want to do. So as with this person, my stated position is I want a healthy work-life balance. I want to feel comfortable and content in both areas. Now, so if we go back to this fitness goal and I say, right, that's what I want to do. if I then do bugger all about it and I don't change either how much food I eat or how many times I get up off my arse every day or how often I go and walk outside, it's like my own personal pep talk right now.
I love it.
But if I have nothing, if I'm not changing any action and I'm just expecting because I've said I want to lose 5k that it's going to fall off by Christmas, it's clearly not going to happen, right? And I think the same thing goes for relationships, right? So we say, I want a healthy work-life balance. I want to be able to feel like I'm connected in my relationship. I want to feel like I'm looking forward to coming home at the end of the day. I want to feel like I'm kind of content with the hours I'm putting in at work. I don't want to feel drained and miserable and feel like I'm never measuring up in any area.
Yeah.
But then if I carry on doing the same thing every day and go, yeah, I'll do that project. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I can stay until 7, 8 o'clock tonight. And the time's ticked on by because clearly my job's really important and I'm an important person. And I kind of know I've got this other issue over there with my relationship, but kind of it's today. It's just today's problem. Tomorrow will be different. We kind of believe that tomorrow will always be different and we can make it different, but we're not doing anything to make that happen.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. I've a lot, and I experience this too. When I speak with my clients, they're like, yeah, I should do that. And I'm like, well, and we know this from our particular coach training program is if it's a should, there's no energy behind that sentiment that is going to get action started. Is that anything where you're like, oh, I should do this. I'm like, well, unlikely for sustainable. I know it in my heart too, but the should has to come to an I want to, or I
want to do something about this, Or the other thing is, I get to do something about this. I get to make this kind of a better life that I want to live, rather than something that I'm on the treadmill every day thinking, oh, here we go, groundhog, back on that hamster wheel.
It's honestly better that if you assess and like, okay, how do I change that should into I should do this? Well, change it into something. You can't say I should. You got to say something. So it's either I want to, I have the opportunity to, or it's I don't want to. Yeah. Because that is perfectly fine. Get off the fence. And if that I should turns into I don't want to, it's like, that's okay. It's low in the priority. And heck, if it's your relationship where you're like, I don't want to work on it, for one reason or the other, that's fine. But it just releases a lot of energy to be used somewhere else if you allow yourself to prioritize the things in your life. No judgment on what you choose to be. I want to, and I get the opportunity to, versus the I don't want to. Yeah. That's okay. And but just it can't stay.
Do it with intention, though. Do it with intention. Don't.
I choose to. I choose to do nothing, and that's okay. It sounds weird. It sounds like I'm being judgmental, but nothing of the sort. No. If you're like, I don't want to lose 5 pounds by Christmas, and I don't. That's not my priority right now. I should lose. I'm like, okay, well, choose a side, and you're like, well, okay, I choose not to. Okay, cool. Yeah. Think of all the things we can do with that new energy that we've got recruited.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we get sucked into this position, don't we? Of if you could take all of that mental energy that you expend actually kind of agonizing over a lot of the stuff that we do, and I'm like a big internal talker, right? So I get how exhausting it feels. But if we can take that energy that we use with those internal kind of discussions that happen, and actually and with the procrastination that comes from those internal discussions, and actually turn that into some sort of action, and that may be an inaction in that particular area, but we choose to do something else with it. That's absolutely fine. I think that's kind of what you're saying. Totally.
Yeah. Totally. Because if you look down the road, you will not have done that thing that you say you're shoulding all over yourself that you should do. Yeah. You wouldn't have done it anyway. 6 months down the road, you wouldn't have done it. So why throw guilt on ourselves? Why occupy our minds with guilt or thinking about all these shoulds, and just spring clean and step out of denial. Yeah. I have to step out of denial all the time. I am drinking from a fire hose in my life right now. But there's obviously stuff that I will get done, and there's obviously balls that will drop. And the balls that drop will be I won't regret it. So it's best to just not think I'm going to be able to do 100 things in a week, and reconcile with, I will do 15.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of like just small action. Like, what is it I can take? What is it that I can do? My question would be to this person, you know, if I do want to take action, what's preventing me? What do I need to help me to take the action I want to take? And that could be one small thing. It might be, actually, do you know what? I'm just so tired right now. I need to rest for like 2 weeks. And in that 2 weeks, I need to park absolutely everything that's going on. And if I need to, I might kind of write that in a journal. I might type it up. I might go for a walk and mutter to myself on the lanes. Whatever it is that kind of helps you to get that out of your headspace. It might be that actually, you know, what I need right now is just a couple of weeks just to pause, take stock, and then like after that time, I'll say, okay, what's one small step I want to take? Whether that's, do I want to pick relationship to work on? Do I want to pick work to work on? Because it's really difficult to feel like everything in my life is broken, and the amount of energy that it's going to take and time to overcome that feels incredibly overwhelming. So instead, we need to just pick a very, very small adjustment to make.
You've got it.
But you need that energy to do it. And now it's like such crap time. It is pitch black outside. So, you know, it's very hard to make changes when it's constantly dark.
Yeah. You've got it. Oh, you've got it. Just another 6 months to go, guys.
No, are we not? We are nearly at the shortest day.
Oh, you're right.
It'll be kind of like a month or so.
You're right. Okay.
Yeah. It's fine. The end is in sight. We are at the darkest days right now.
Oh my God, I love this. I love it. It sneaks up on you, right? Because you forget. There's all this optimism. We barely forget that we've left summer and we're almost at the shortest day. So, okay, this is good. Yeah, this is good. We'll be fine. We'll be fine, everybody. No one is freaking out right now. Absolutely nobody.
We're permanently freaking out right now. Do not believe that we've got all our shit together, because we really haven't. And
God.
We genuinely struggle with all the same things: the life turmoil, the anxiety, the influences around us. We are all there.
The dumpster fires. I currently have a few dumpsters on fire right now. Oh God.
We're just marginally better at sorting out other people's lives.
You've got it. Chuckle, chuckle. It's so true. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Well, I'm going to go and try to arrange some cat beds, because I don't have a bed for my new apartment, but my cat better have a bed. So I'm going to go and figure out her bedding situation, and then I'll figure out my own. At this point in time, it looks like I'll be sleeping on a yoga mat with a quilt, but let's see. A lot can happen in 24 hours.
I'm sure you're going to figure this out. You need to think, what are the 3 most important things that I need to do to figure this out, and focus on those.
I'm going to exercise vulnerability and ask for help, actually.
That's a good suggestion.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, this is good. Thank you, Sarah.
Very good idea.
Thank you for buoying my mood.
We have got you.
And with that, it is wine o'clock.
Yes, it's gnocchi o'clock for me. I'm going to go and make gnocchi tonight.
Oh, gnocchi, yeah. Sweet. Yes. Oh my God, I can taste that. I'm so hungry. Oh,
yum. Me too. Well, It was a pleasure as always, miss. And good luck with your next amazing adventure that you are embarking on.
Oh, thank you so much. I'll need it.
I shall send some positive vibes across the universe to you.
Thank you. I will need it. Well, I'll see you on the other side.
Indeed. Can't wait for the next update and installment.
Hopefully a bed. Just a bed. That's all I need is a bed.
Just a bed.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Till next time.
Till next time.
So that's it for another week of Geordie, Lass and Doc Sass. We hope you've enjoyed listening as much as we've enjoyed chatting. Get in touch and share your questions for relationship remedies and any hot topics you want us to cover. If you need help navigating all things relationships, Anna and Sarah are available for one-on-one coaching support. Email info@geordielass.com. Please remember to like, share, subscribe if you've enjoyed listening. And if you've not, how on earth have you made it this far? I promise we'll try harder next time.